welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
And I'm a little bit more well off than I was last week. Turned out the whole thing was not a thing. The fifth plumber that came out found that it was not what everybody else thought it was. And it was easy to fix. And it cost me $300 instead of $9,000. So that was fantastic. And I got a raise on the same weekend. Not just that, but Days came out to visit us. And my brother was out here too. It was a great weekend altogether. Awesome. All in one weekend, all that happened. And now I'm exhausted from all the happiness. Yeah.
I've experienced happiness for the first time in months. An unfamiliar feeling, but it is welcomed.
Look at Chi. Chi is streaming. If you're wondering where Chi is, she's playing Back for Blood. She's streaming right now. And she is into it, man. Damn, she's intense.
All of her friends are dead.
Yeah, that's not looking good there. And they all have, I mean, we'll get into this, but they all have that little PC icon next to them. Yet, if you play on the Xbox Game Pass, it looks like you are playing on the Xbox because it has the X symbol, which I find a little confusing there.
I wonder if somebody's on the Xbox if it shows a little controller instead.
I don't think so.
And just we're all lumped together in the Xbox.
Yeah.
Ecosphere now.
Yeah.
But more on that later, right?
Yep, more on that later. Let's talk about some games that have come to our attention this week. First one I want to talk about is Chasing Static. So it is almost Halloween. It is October. It's that spooky time of year. If you remember a long, long time ago, well, not that long ago, I interviewed and talked to the developer of a game called Guard Duty. Very nice point-and-click adventure. Great point-and-click adventure for people who don't like point-and-click adventures, like a real good gateway point-and-click game. And he had mentioned at that point that he was working on his next game, and all he could say about it was it's going to be a horror game, and it has to do with sound. Sound is going to be some sort of game mechanic. That game is now out, and it is called Chasing Static. And he's got a very specific graphic style that he's going for, that he was inspired by like the early Resident Evil games, I believe. So it's got those like PlayStation graphics from the 90s. It looks like an interesting game. And I think it's only like $15. I'll definitely be checking it out. Looking forward to that. And I've not played anything scary yet in October. And, you got to get something in. But
you're almost done. We're almost done with October.
Yeah. And, like horror games in general, I just haven't been feeling as of late. But I'm interested to see how the mechanics of this game work. It does say in the details of this game, it's not very long. I think it's a few hours long.
Mm-hmm.
It's not linear. You kind of just like open box, explore the world. And I'm interested to see how the mechanic plays out. But, I've been following this guy on Twitter. I've been seeing the details and the screenshots come out slowly over time. So really interested to see the final product here.
Yeah, it's nice when you can see the whole development. If you're so excited about something, you just watch the whole development slowly through a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
It's good.
Cool. All right. What do you guys got?
I have a project. Nick, you're like really low, so I didn't know if you were talking to us or not.
I said sometimes it's really cool to see like your developer get some shit done. Like you cheer, and then they're making small games like a Mega Man clone. Then all of a sudden they're making games that are like AAA. You're like, you finally made it there, buddy.
I don't think that's ever going to be this guy's deal, right? Like I think he likes to do small games and do it all his way.
Well, he's working mostly by himself. I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other people that contribute, but it's mostly him behind this. So yeah, it's hard to make big, expensive games like that.
Yeah. So Project Madness Project Nexus. I feel like it's just like word soup. They just roll the dice with like cool popular words for video games, and they got Madness Project Nexus. It doesn't even make sense, but it does look super fucking cool. What it reminds me the most of is like those stick figure games that are like hyper violent and have super cool kill animations, and the controls are very easy, and you're just pushing one button and just all this crazy kind of murderous, cool kung fu action movie stuff happens. But so that's how the combat looks, but there's a lot more to it. It's like a twin stick shooter. It's got a third, like a 3/4 view, and it looks like a 3D drawing. It's kind of like Borderlands esque, but I mean, it's like a drawing that popped off the page. It's really pretty to look at. Is that not? Can you not find any video on it? Did I give you a bad link, Christian?
I mean, it looks like he's playing the game in a browser. Is
Oh,
this a stream?
Yeah.
It might be part
It-
two.
it-
Part two's on Steam.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, my bad, dude. Because I kept seeing part two. So somebody took, I guess it was a Flash game, and then somebody made part two, and now it's like a full blown game. It's overwhelmingly positive for 4,000 reviews. The soundtrack is crazy. The action is crazy. The graphics are really cool. I think I'm going to be picking this up. This looks really fun. I watched a lot of gameplay. I actually watched like 20 minutes of gameplay. I was like, I want to be the guy controlling that instead of this guy on YouTube. So
This game's kind of expensive.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm going to wait for
25
For a
25
second
bucks. I mean,
edition
it's not.
fucking Flash game. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, the first one, yeah, but that's good. You know, you have a super small developer, usually one guy that does the Flash games, right? And then if it gets popular enough, then you get a couple buddies and you make a full game out of it.
I don't know. You can't always trust the reviews of games like that, though. That whole
Oh.
Henry Stickmin thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the entire player base of the first game could have just came on and give it a thumbs
Yeah,
up. Right?
people who were fans of the Flash game could have just hopped on and said, yep, this is great. But I don't know. This looks actually pretty good. The whole Henry Stickmin thing, the problem was it wasn't much of a game. You know, it was mostly just the jokes. And if you like that kind of comedy or that cartoon, then I guess it would be fun. But for anybody else, it wasn't that great. This looks like it's
The
got
Harry Stickmin thing. I don't know anything about that.
Henry Stickmin. It's a game that I played, God, maybe a year ago or so. And it's got really, really good reviews on Steam. So I thought, this should be good. It looked like a point and click adventure. Turns out like it was a cartoon or like a web animation that somebody had done, like, you know, just humorous drawings with stickmen. And someone he made a game out of it. I think it was the same people that originally made the cartoon. And all the reviews were just basically people who had loved the cartoon. But the game itself was actually not even that much of a game. It was just kind of like, you know, here's a bunch of options, click on things and funny things will happen on screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
When you don't have a sense of humor, I'm sure that's rough.
Yeah, well,
Double whammy for Bobby. He can't laugh, and therefore he just doesn't understand it.
yeah. I mean, it was kind of, some of the stuff was kind of funny, but it wasn't
Yeah.
fun, you know.
Yeah,
But-
That's
yeah.
pretty
no point. There was no point
Yeah,
to the
I
whole
never
thing.
knew that. Now I have like a new reference.
Well, after a little while, it got pretty old pretty quick.
Nick, I'm gonna need you to get that microphone and put it on your lips. I need you to feel the fuzz, dude.
Why? I don't want people to hear me breathe.
It doesn't matter. Well, until
Okay,
until it does,
jeez.
then I'll let you know.
Do you remember, like, yo, he's breathing like a cow again? Like,
I'm just
right,
keeping
man.
myself alive.
I'm
Leave
just,
me
you know,
alone.
trying to breathe. I have a deviated septum. Leave me alone. It's a condition.
You've been
But,
Total
was
Warhammer
that your
3. What is that?
earlier? Huh?
What is Total War Warhammer 3?
Oh, shut up. You know, it's my default to talk about thing. We're getting closer and closer to next year, so they're Creative Assembly's putting out more and more news. They're showing the most information that they've showed about any faction, and this is one of the biggest things that they've done for any Total War game. And it's kind of like setting a precedent for all the future Total War games about how complex they're making each faction from each other now. Just how different one Chaos God is being from every other one is insane. So in the last week, they released all the information for the Chaos God Zinch. It's also my favorite. He's the Chaos God of Lies, blah, blah, blah. He's a giant bird. Anyways, he has some obscene fucking abilities. And the reason why I bring these up is like you would never see these things in any other Total War game. One of his abilities is literally to get any settlement that you can see, claim it, and give it to someone else or yourself. It doesn't matter which settlement. It doesn't matter when in the game. You can just do it.
Once again.
And you're like, why would you would be like, why would you do that? What's the point of doing that? Well, if your ally is losing or someone that you see as an ally, or you know that there's a faction that is way better in late game, you can just claim the current strongest faction's capital and give it to the weakest faction or that faction that you're trying to keep alive.
It sounds super broken.
So the reason why they're making these factions broken, and it's only for the story mode. The reasons why they're making these factions broken is because they're chaos gods, right? And you're like, oh, they're literal gods. But the other thing is that 80% of the fucking map hates you immediately. You're automatically at war with 80% of the map. So they have to give you overpowered abilities and stuff. And another one of his abilities is, so like in Total War, you have different stances. And especially in this one, you have a couple of different ones. You have like a channeling stance so that you only get to move like a quarter of what your normal movement area is. But when you start a battle, you have more like mana, or it's called essentially mana, whatever, to be able to cast abilities and stuff. Well, Zinch has a new one.
Nerd juice. Is it nerd juice? Nerd juice?
Nerd juice.
No.
Yeah. Nerd Gatorade. Zinch has a new one, and it's just called teleport. And it's fucking broken. So as long as you meet a certain criteria of a certain amount of spellcasters in your army, you can simply just teleport to a visible location from your character, and instantly ambush an enemy army.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of these guys are going to have overpowered, just like what you said. They're starting off, the deck is stacked against you, so they got to make you overpowered. All of this stuff is just for the campaign, right?
Yes, exactly. Now they've shown their units, and people are kind of wishy-washy about the units. You get a lot of new stuff that we've never seen before on the tabletop. You get a lot of stuff that we have seen on the tabletop, and they look really pretty. Some people that are mad that some of the units are just a recoloring of previous games, and some people are really glad that things look the same. So I just like that certain units are in the game, and I'm just having a good time looking at all the trailers and everything. But I'm just excited. So just this one new faction of the 7 that they're including, which is 4 Chaos Gods, 2 good factions, and the ogres. Like they have said that every faction is going to be so different that playing a campaign is going to be like playing a completely different game. And it's just like, if that's a selling point, so many people are just going to buy Total War Warhammer 3 and none of the previous games just to get that experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's great when kind of like Slay the Spire, the different characters you play, you have to play them completely different to get ahead. And that adds to the replayability. And so but this is a way 10 times more complex game.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Like I went from like being like passively excited, like like the game's coming out in like 4 months.
You've never been passively excited, dude. Day one, you're.
I've already pre-purchased it, man. Like I pre-purchased it as soon as the button was there.
Yeah,
but it's just like now I'm like juiced. I'm like checking every day for news and shit. Like it's even crazier now. But it's super exciting.
If before you were passively excited, I don't want to see you excited, dude. I don't want to hear, like, that's crazy. I don't know if I can handle it.
You can and you will handle it. But no, it was great. Definitely check out the trailer. They've also announced a complete siege overhaul for all the people that hate siege battles. They've completely overhauled them. Watch the trailer. I'm not going to go on my soapbox because everyone's tired of me talking about Total War.
I'm glad you're self-aware.
All right. Last game we're going to talk about is called Across the Obelisk. And this game just popped up in that little, the images on Steam where it just shows you like some games they think you'll like. And I thought, yes, I do like this. As a matter of fact, Steam must realize that I've been playing a lot of card-based combat games. So this one is in early access. It's called Across the Obelisk. And here's the interesting thing about it. It is a co-op
Oh,
deck building RPG roguelike
whoa.
game. Yeah, co-op. And that just blew my mind. I was like,
Wow.
what?
My mind's blown, dude. Like, what the
Whoa.
fuck?
It's such a simple
Emilio
idea.
finally playing games with you? That's a hit for the next fucking segment.
Yeah, so a co-op version of basically what we've all played before with Slay the Spire and Grifflins and Tainted Grail and all those other games. The graphics are a little cartoony. It's the same card-based combat, all the same stuff you're used to, but co-op. So yeah, pretty good. The game is $17.99 right now on Steam in early access. I think they came out with a patch recently, which is why it showed up on my feed, patch 0.07. So, they're working their way to a 1.0 release. Pretty good reviews too.
I wonder if you'll be able to trade cards with people, like to make your entire squad stronger.
Yeah. I don't know how the co-op works in this. I'm really interested to find out, but
Yeah.
that'd be really cool.
Man, I hope this is a good game. Fuck.
Yeah. Or at least the idea's there. Now that we know you can do this, like it was sitting there the whole time, like,
Yeah,
bam,
for sure.
co-op deck building.
I hope it works.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about some games that we have played.
Yeah, you guys. Go ahead, Nick.
So I'm like, I'm going to talk about New World because I've been playing a lot of New World like passively, like waiting for shit to happen. And New World is like RuneScape to me, where I'm not really doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just doing stupid shit. And it's kind of like people are like, why aren't you level 40 yet? I'm like, bro, I'm level 32. I'm making bread. And like literally and figuratively. And I've discovered that my server completely lacks any bread supply. So I'm literally buying all the fucking corn and barley and all the yeast on the server and just making literal bread and selling it for 25 gold a piece.
Nice.
And I've made like 3,000 gold in the past day.
Pretty good, man.
And it is so profitable that every time I log in, I just see like it just jumps up. And I just sell it at Windsward or whatever the fuck it's called. Because that's where everybody is kind of home based out of because it's in the middle. And yeah, it's just making bread literally.
Why are people buying bread?
So bread is one of these weird things. So there's that's a really good fucking question. So in every city there are these like community boards, right? And everybody has their own individual quests that are on these community boards. And some of them are like make food for the homeless or whatever the fuck. And sometimes that food requires ingredients. And sometimes that ingredient is bread. And so it'd be like, make 10 whatever the fuck, you're going to need 8 loaves of bread. And so because no one has the ability to make bread, or there's no corn on the market, or people haven't focused making on their cooking and just been questing or hunting or whatever, I've been literally just making bread.
Wow.
And so they're like, fuck it, I don't want to walk to the kitchen and learn how to cook and all that shit.
Cornering
buy
the
the
corn
bread.
market.
Yep.
You're cornering the market.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so like I worked out the math. So it takes 2 corn to make 1 flour, right? And you need 1 flour to make 1 bread. 1 corn is 1.5 gold, so that's 3 gold, and the yeast is 0.5 gold, so it's 3.5 gold.
Okay. We don't need to
To make-
know the economics.
To make 1 loaf of bread, and I sell it for 25 gold, son. I'm a goddamn bread mogul.
Wow.
But the crazy thing is, like, sometimes I'll get bot purchases. Well, like someone will buy like 150 pieces of bread.
And they're gonna mark it up.
Well, yeah, they're gonna mark it up exactly.
Wow, that's like the founder or whatever, the guy that took over McDonald's by like shouldering him out. You're gonna do this. The same thing's gonna happen to you, dude. There's gonna be another younger, hungrier bread mogul. It's
He's
good.
gonna like his carbs a little bit more than I
Fighting
do.
his way to the top of the bread game.
And what's awesome is that I get experience from doing it, so it's
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Yeah, that is cool.
Like I love this game because of like the fact that I can level up from making bread. So like fuck you, world.
Wow.
Best
I'm
part of
making
your
bread.
story is we play on the same server, Nick, and I have 200 level cooking, and I didn't know about this, but now I know.
Fuck you,
So
it's my bread. Don't touch my
Check-
bread market. Make your own
check out-
shit. Make
check out my
sausages.
bread.
The
Yeah,
secret recipes out
$24.99
there.
on the market. Check it out, $24.99. Come on, get it on. Get it quick.
But Nick, that's really smart because you chose a commodity that's needed in everybody's quest line, and
Exactly.
Yeah, fucking.
But the thing is, so corn is extremely common, but no one realizes that you literally can just pick it off the fucking stalk. And so like people pick it and are like, I don't know what to do with corn because there's no fucking roasted corn recipe. And so they just fucking sell it on the stock market because you can't just throw away corn. You can just make a little bit of money. And so I just turn the corn into fucking bread and then bam,
Wow, dude.
money.
You should take this to Shark Tank, bro.
Look, sharks, I'm looking to sell bread in a digital universe to a bunch of idiots.
I'm looking for 10% investment for $500,000.
Are
Who's
you
in?
in or you out?
Sir, how long would you like us to listen to you talk about corn? That's a fucking quote from Barack Obama in Congress. Somebody who's going about talking about corn for like 65 minutes, and he stops him. He goes, "How long do you want us to?"
How long do you want us to talk about fucking corn?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, that it like it's so funny because this always happens in new games where like some of the simplest shit will be just obscenely expensive. Like in the beginning,
yeah.
tadpoles were going for like 120 fucking gold each. Now they're like 10 or 20 or whatever. But like in the beginning, they were obscenely expensive, but everybody farmed them to oblivion and now they're extremely cheap.
Yeah,
But people who caught that on early made so much money.
the what do you call it? The gathering, the cultivation tools, all of them. The next tier up from flint is iron, and all the iron. It was like so overpriced. Everything was like 50 gold for a fucking shovel, and 50 gold for this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do it. I would go make it myself instead. Because there's just too many people. The demand is too high. Well, let me explain supply and demand to you now. Let's move on. Somebody playing Timberborn?
Yeah, I'll be quick since on video I'm just a floating voice with no head. But I just want to shout out listener Curd the Ape, famous ape in our Discord. He bought this for me because I was talking about it so much.
Yeah, you guys were going
play-
back and forth about playing it too, right? Like
Yeah.
taking tips from each other?
This happened at the worst time. I was so into New World, and then, I was burnt out, and then I was delivered Timberborn. So then I just played 30 hours of that and burnt myself out on that. Now I'm back for New World, so it's interesting. You play as
Stay with my
beavers.
bread.
You play as beavers, and you build up your beaver civilization after humans have fucked up the earth. It's a pretty plausible future. The game, I think when we were talking about this on the radar, Bobby said it was kind of gimmicky. And looking at the Steam page, you might think that, but they really did a good job on the mechanics of the game. It all revolves around building up dams and that vertical building
I don't
buildings
remember
on top
calling
of each
it
other.
gimmicky, but yeah, I was
Yeah, me
interested in the
neither.
vertical building. Like, what's up with
Okay.
that?
Maybe I thought it was gimmicky then, and I'm misremembering. But it's not. It's everything's fun. The mechanics work with the city building. It's not just another reskin city builder. You only have a certain amount of land, and arable land really counts for your people. So you're really forced to build up on the land that you've managed to kind of make green again, and that's where that mechanic fits in. But anyways, I'm playing the tutorial, and I name all my beavers after my family. And about 10 minutes in, they have this little water icon above their heads, and I'm like, oh, they just go to the river. They're beavers, right? They're going to go to the river and drink. They don't. They all die of thirst, and my family dies in front of me. I have like 10 family members die. I'm like, oh shit, that's bad. And so I go on the tutorial again, and this time I'm like, okay, I got them water. Now everyone dies of food. I'm like, damn, okay. So the third time I go into the tutorial, still the
You
tutorial.
need a
by the way.
tutorial to tell you that beavers need food and water. is what you're saying here.
Yo, I don't want to know how the fuck you were when you were like 11. You got a hamster from PetSmart. Like, I do not want to know what that was like for you.
If you ever
Yeah.
run for mayor in any town, I'm going to play this clip as your counter.
You're just saying it like the absurdity, like they need food and water.
Right. I guess I should
People
explain.
need water to survive.
I should explain that what happens, the challenge, is that every 15 days or so, a drought dries up all the
Okay.
water in your line. So you need to store a bunch of food, you need to store a bunch of water, and that's where the dams come in. You're building up the water level so that when the drought happens, you have a big reservoir for your people to draw on and not die. Anyways, I failed that. I failed the tutorial like 5 times, and then I finally got it. And then I spent 29 hours building up my watershed. My map I'm working on now, it's like a fortify, like the wall in Game of Thrones. That's basically what I have. There's unlimited kilometers of water above it, and I think I beat the game. So I'm waiting for the next update.
Yeah, because it's still in early access. Does it feel like it's in early access? Like, is it missing a lot, or is it pretty complete?
I don't really. I mean, there's 30 hours of gameplay here. For a city builder, maybe it's missing some content, but for other games, I mean, yeah, it's
I
fine.
wonder
It
if
doesn't.
it's-
Now, Chris, when you
I
say you think you beat the game, there's no clear defined goal.
No, right now, yeah, that is what the one thing that would be missing. There is no predefined goal. There's no like milestones. You're basically just building until you've greened out your whole map, basically, until you've reinvigorated the whole environment. And it's like these sandboxy maps. There's no storyline or anything.
This is a really dumb question, I think, but are the beavers aquatic? So, like, if you flood them,
Yeah.
do they survive or can
Yeah,
they thrive?
That's what I didn't understand. Why didn't they just go to the river to drink the first time? I don't know.
No,
They
no,
do
I'm-
survive in the water.
I mean,
When
like,
they
if
flood,
if you flood their
You're like,
city,
just open your mouth in the water, beaver. Just come under and open.
if you flood the city, that's the part that fucked me up. They live. They just swim around. I'm
that's
like,
what
well,
I
was
meant.
stopping
Yeah.
them?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you flood
yeah,
your
take
own
that,
town.
Future mayor me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can easily flood your city because as you're building up your water levels, you're building up the watershed. You'd be like, oh shit, the water will just flow in a random direction that you might have not expected, and it'll come back around and flood all your people. When your place is
They're
flooded,
not
buildings
people.
Don't work. Sorry. They are my family.
Sentient beavers. beavers.
Family.
And that's Timberborn, everyone. It's what is this? $24 American. I think
Yeah,
it's worth
25.
picking up in early access.
Yeah, still very interested in that game. God, I always think of, when it comes to beavers, I always think of that BBC Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe movie from like the 80s, where they had, they had beavers in that movie, talking beavers.
Yeah.
But because this is like the 80s and it's the BBC, it's just like these people in these ridiculous beaver outfits. They look like bowling pins. Even like when I saw this as a kid, I was like, dude, this is pretty bad. But I always think of that when I think of beavers. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Back for Blood. But before we do, I just want to mention what's going on with the Xbox Game Pass, because I had that for a little while and then I needed to extend it in order to play Back for Blood. And here's what I did, and this is pretty wild. I went on eBay. I was like, you know what? People have got to be selling like those codes on eBay for a couple months access. And sure enough, they're all over eBay. I don't know how legit this is, but it worked fine for me. I spent $1.70 and got 3 months of Xbox Game Pass. I don't know if I can do that again in another 3 months or not, but I mean, hey, we'll see. And I wasn't even sure it was going to work the first time, but I was like, hey, for $1.70, let's find out. So yeah, I'm back on Xbox Game Pass. I really don't like it, man. Like, I think they got a lot to improve, and it's a lot of like simple stuff. I'm like, why is the friends list so hard to manage with this? And it kind of gets into Back for Blood and that whole thing, but I think it's improved somewhat. Like, you go into the list of games and they show you like the new stuff that's been added. They've got a search. They've got one where you can just bring up the entire library, and then there's like maybe 3 filters you can apply for it. But it's just like, hey, come on, man. Like, just look at Steam. Give me a list of all my games and let me do it like just line item list like that. I don't need to see the icons. I don't want to like scroll down through a whole mess of, artwork. Like, just show me what games I have. I don't understand what's so complicated about this. But yeah, let's talk about Back for Blood, because that is, I've been playing quite a bit of this, and I think we've all played this. So right off the bat, first impressions, I really like it, but there are some really, again, like Xbox Game Pass, there's some really simple stuff. I'm like, why is it like this? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Like what?
Like you can't vote kick people in campaigns. So if one person is just like, I don't like you guys, I want to ruin your run, then they can literally just go into the base and just hold down the joystick and keep moving the character around, and you're pretty much stuck unless you quit the game and remake.
But the party leader can kick them.
No, there's no kicking in
I
this.
could have sworn I saw that option.
So I've read that you can kick if they're, I don't know, this could have been from earlier, but you can kick if they're on PC. But for the Xbox Game Pass and the Xbox, no. I didn't have any option. There was no vote kick option. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And then I had a game where someone decided to troll, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is game breaking. This is horrible. There was some guy who joined a game, and he kind of ran ahead and died. And I don't know if that's kind of what triggered it. Like, he got upset about that. But for the rest of the maps, he decided that he was going to hang back and just try to not die, and we'd all finish the level, and he was out there just trying to basically make us wait for as long as he could.
Fucking
and he tried to hold off. So it pretty much added like 5-10 minutes to the end of every single map. I was like, whatever, dude, I got things to do around the house. Like, this guy can't outlast me. But yeah, I'm like, dude,
you don't know how boring I am. I got multiple responsibilities.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, that's ridiculous that this guy can do it. And he was playing as Doc too. And he was like trying to do things purposely. Like there was a map where you have to go around and collect things and bring them to an area. And I saw him like take one and try to hide it in the corner. I'm like, oh, I'm on to you, dude. So I went over there and grabbed it. So he's like actively trying to troll the game. And I'm like, that's pretty stupid. And then you take into account on top of that, between every stage, every map, there is 6 things you have to click through in order to get into the next map. 6 things, 6 times you have to click yes, I want that card, yes. Right. Like, and you get 5 minutes to do that. So there's always going to be one dude that's just like, oh, I'm going to take a pee break, and I got to read all the details on these cards, and they're just going to be slow. You know, anytime you put that little tiny roadblock, as simple as it is, just like click F to continue, you're going to have that one dude that's just like not doing it. So pretty much you have a 5-minute wait time between every single map that you play, which gets really tedious. On top of that, if you play campaign and you don't have any friends to queue up with, and you're just like, all right, I want to do campaign, because you can do quick play and jump into someone else's game. But if you're like, no, I want to work on my campaign so I can start unlocking my access to other areas, other acts, like I would hit campaign and queue, and then 15 minutes later, finally get a game. And it'd be like one person, and then you'd like immediately leave, and I was just on my own. Maybe like a couple maps down, other people would join.
Were you deep into the campaign?
No, not really. I mean, like still the first act, maybe like a couple maps in. Yeah, it took forever.
Dude, I had a completely different experience.
Really?
Well, first of all, it's just luck of the draw of what knuckleheads you get in there, right? I had a super helpful guy.
Well,
that was just
then again, you've been playing 2 hours. I've been playing like 15 or 20.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so far, I mean, this guy was like, he showed me all the ropes, and he's like, do you need me to show you this? And he's like, at this part of it was almost, and his voice and everything, he sounded like those fake people that play, and then they put out the demo. You know what I'm talking about?
My name's Billy. Move up, pal.
Yeah, he was like that. I was like, this guy's so helpful. It was great.
Don't forget to press R to reload.
And then when I reloaded, so in those 2 hours, because of chaos in my house and I can't play multiplayer games, I reloaded, continue campaign. And I mean, instantly I was into a game that was like right where I dropped off. Instantly. Like,
and you didn't do quick play. You did campaign.
I did campaign, yeah.
Okay.
And it says continue your campaign, and I clicked it, and I was like, like instantly. But yeah, and about the game, I guess there's a lot to unpack here. It is Left 4 Dead for the modern times, right? It's Left 4 Dead with
your cards,
progression.
skins.
Yeah,
It's got
progression.
your stereotypes.
It's got progression and it's got strategy, I guess. The whole thing of like the game director uses cards and then you're supposed to counter those cards with your cards. It doesn't happen at the lower levels. Like it doesn't fucking matter. I don't think. Maybe a little bit, but I'm sure at the higher levels you really have to counter it hard. Where like, I don't know, if there's more crows, you have to be more stealthy, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a huge discrepancy from the easiest difficulty recruit and the next difficulty veteran. And they've already started to tweak that a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I think part of that is you need to spend some time going through all the maps on recruit on the easiest difficulty. And you earn these things called supply points, which you can then use to unlock other cards, which give you abilities in game. And those supply lines and those cards, like there's a ton of them. I played forever and I unlocked so many of them. And then I finally looked up, like I was like, okay, like show me all the supply lines. Like what am I working towards here? There's a lot for each row. There's 3 rows. I think there's like 15 different supply lines, 8 items each.
And they're random too.
Yeah,
you get the same ones over and over again.
Can you explain supply lines? What is that?
It's just, I mean, I don't want to like explain it in detail. It's pretty much just unlocking either cosmetics, like to dress up your profile, or unlock.
I have
cards.
a simple way to explain it because I just explained it to someone. Essentially, a supply line, depending on its description, enhances a certain ability. So one supply line is all offense, one supply line is all defense, and one supply line is all support. And so you simply use your points that you earned from campaign to unlock certain cards in that category. Sometimes there are cosmetics, sometimes there are character cosmetics, and then most of the times it's just cards.
Yeah, you just unlock stuff, basically, cosmetics and cards. But there's a ton of them. Like I was working on the top row, which is like the offensive one mostly, because I've been playing a lot of just like the guy with the rifle who shoots stuff. And I thought, man, I got to be getting close to the end of this. And I looked it up. I'm halfway through that supply line. Haven't even started on the other ones. So there's a lot of stuff to unlock here, and there's a lot of cards that are really good, I'm assuming, at the end of these supply lines that I have not gotten yet.
Yeah.
And I imagine the game is probably a lot easier when you start getting those really good cards. And you also, learn how to play a little bit more. But so maybe the difficulty is where it should be. I don't know. We'll see.
And you get way more supply points at the higher difficulties, I'm guessing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get negative 50% supply points on recruit. So you're earning half as much as you should be.
Yeah. It seems super easy. Like, obviously, I think it's supposed to be. There's like, where's all the zombies? I was like, you call this a horde?
Yeah, I mean, I love the gameplay, and I really like the game. Once I get into it, I'm like having a great time here. It's just the recruit difficulty is pretty easy.
Yeah.
You can pretty much speed run right through it, even with bots. And the bots aren't that bad. Like I got no problem with bots.
They point out money.
They're really good at pointing out money and dropping ammo. Like they're on top of it, man.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
a little slow to pick you back up sometimes. But I mean, I don't mind that so much. And it'd be nice if I had like more people to play with so I didn't have to deal with the randos issue. But the fact is, even with Discord, it's kind of tough. I mean, I hopped on Friday and everybody was already in a game and I wasn't the odd man out.
Aww.
So I just started playing by myself. And then on top of that, dude, like sometimes playing with your friends isn't that great either. People got like other responsibilities and kids and whatever,
100%.
Yeah.
I was playing with, I'm going to butcher his name. Nyako?
Nyanko.
Yeah, Nyako, the guy from Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing with him, and twice in like our 1 hour session, I had to stop. I had to walk away from my computer. And fucking sucks, man. I felt really bad. He was cool about it, but apparently you were playing with him, Chris, and you wiped the whole party by doing something. I don't know. He was telling me a bunch of stuff about you.
Yeah, I was the best player on the team. That's probably what he was saying.
I refuse to play any multiplayer game like that we're playing like Super Serial and Sweaty, like Back for Blood, unless Vivian is asleep. Unless she's like conked out, I will not play a game.
Yeah,
I'll play solo games. I'll play Far Cry, whatever, but I will not play a multiplayer game with other people. I will not try not to inconvenience people as much as I can.
Yeah. But the game overall, I mean, the gameplay loop, all that stuff, it's fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Oh,
the
yeah.
combat. I really wish. I haven't tried veteran in a while. I cannot get into a veteran game unless I play quick play, which is part of the problem as well. But maybe I would be able to handle that a little bit better now that I've unlocked quite a bit of cards. But I really like the card system. I kind of got a hint of it in the beta, but there are so many cards out there and there's so many like synergies to build. I've been spending some time like doing some research on Reddit or whatever, people saying like, oh, here's the best build for this or that. I'm kind of disappointed that I went so far down the offensive line because I really would have liked to play more Doc, which is the like the support
The
character.
Asian lady
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
support
she's awesome.
character. And somebody posted a great build on Reddit. They're like, this is pretty much it, man. Like the first 10 are crucial, and then the last 5 you can kind of pick whatever. And then they gave some pointers on how to play it. I'm like, oh god, that seems so cool because it gets close to that role based cooperative play that I like so much. It's not just, I mean, Left 4 Dead was great game, but essentially you're just shooting a bunch of zombies. Everyone's doing the same thing. And if you play that game a whole lot, you kind of get used to the guns as well. There's so much variety in the characters here. You know, you got a racially diverse cast. You got the black, white guy, Asian, ginger. They're all there, you know. And then they've all
Ginger
got
is
their
not a race. It's a mutation, Bobby.
but they've all got their own special perks and like they do one thing better than the other people, and then you can like lay or lean more into that with the cards and go down different routes. And then on top of that, you got the guns as well, which there's a ton of different types of guns, but then there's also this randomness of like maybe you get the really good attachment for it.
Yeah.
So I really like all that stuff. I think that stuff is really great. And having played through like all the acts on Recruit, like there's quite a bit.
To do.
There's quite a bit there. I wish when it comes to the maps, I wish there were more like Dead Center from Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2, I've played hundreds of hours of that game, and it like 90% of it is just multiplayer Dead Center versus mode because I think that was just the best map. I didn't even
Which
want
one
to,
is Dead Center?
it's the mall
Oh,
where
okay.
you gotta get the car and drive out of the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wish there was
Isn't
some
that why
more
so many
urban
people
settings.
like the jukebox level of this game?
I love that one. That was my favorite one.
The jukebox one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, where
I
you're
thought the
defending
song was great.
The diner.
Yeah,
Yeah, where you're like holding down the fort and
Yeah.
waiting for the guy to pick you up. Yeah, that's a
And-
good one.
and then the one where you're you're building the fences and you're putting things on the walls.
At the church, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I thought, oh, once we
If
get
you
it all
have no
boarded,
synergy, that whole fucking map will literally go on until you fix everything. And my friends were like, "No, man, we're gonna keep shooting." I'm like, "You don't understand. We need to repair. I've already done this with Bobby. Like, we need to do this."
Oh,
They're
see,
like,
I thought as soon as we built it up really quick. It was cool. As soon as we built it up, though, I thought that we're gonna be attacked by giant waves of monsters. It doesn't happen. It just if you build it up and then you leave. It was anticlimactic, but I did like the change up in.
Oh,
in
you're
gameplay.
you're not the church. You're talking about another one. I can't remember what building that is,
It
but I
seems
know
like
what
a
you're talking about.
church. Yeah, like
the
right
last
before.
scene of
The church is really small.
No, this is like a 3-leveled.
Yeah, that one's
place.
different.
And you're building it up, and the zombies are getting in,
Mhm.
and you're defending it. I guess it's because it's recruit. It's anticlimactic. But I did like the change up in gameplay, and then I do like the toolkit. The cool toolkit is like something that takes up one of your slots. There's
Yeah,
a there's a
utility
lot of
slot.
things that they get from the Warhammer game. I forget what the Vermintide. Yeah, so
yeah.
you might carry something that's over. It'll help the whole thing long term, but one of your slots is taken up. So you can carry the toolkit and open up these fucking amazing rooms. It's totally worth it for one of your guys to carry the toolkit. I think.
Yeah, you want
Apparently,
to
in later difficulties, they cannot be worth it.
You don't think it's worth it?
I've walked into some pretty lame.
No. What I'm saying is they can be
rooms.
empty.
Oh,
Oh,
oh yeah.
Yeah, they
that's
can
what
be.
he's
They
saying.
can be gambles.
I see.
yeah, but still, it's not bad to have one person carrying one of those around. But yeah, I really like what they've done with a lot of things in this game, and I think it's I think it's a really good game. I can't wait to see what other content comes out. I would like more urban maps, I guess, if that makes any sense. But I love the card system. I kind of thought once I got through the first act, I would have unlocked like the majority of the cards and I would have been kind of over the game. But I'm still kind of like, I want to unlock all the support lines and get Doc up and running, and then really play like seriously, go at it seriously with a team on veteran. But I don't know. We'll see if that happens.
That person that was super helpful today, they were playing Doc, and I feel like they had some levels up because they just continuously kept running up to me and healing me. I thought it was a dev. That's what I was like, this guy's being too helpful.
This mic quality is too good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a recommend for me, especially on Game Pass, especially for fucking, and cross-platform. You could turn the cross-platform off, I think, Bobby.
Yeah, but then you're waiting longer for a game because you're pulling from a smaller
There's no real
pool.
point to turn that off.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know, man. I just honestly wish that it would be a little more quicker between the rounds, and they would implement a vote kick system. Because okay, the vote kick system did get abused. It always does in games, and I understand that. But I kind of feel like we're throwing the baby out with the bong water here. It's like, come on, like you take away the vote kick system so it doesn't get abused, but then it gets way more abused in the opposite direction. So.
Have you been the leader? Because I was the leader both times. I could have.
Well, when you start your own campaign,
Yeah.
when you hit continue run, you're always the leader.
I could have sworn there's a kick. Maybe.
No, dude,
maybe I'm wrong.
I Googled it and everything. I had a lot of time while that guy was out there dicking around.
And then it's funny that you have the complete opposite opinion. I was like, ooh, 5 minutes between rounds. Perfect.
Well, honestly, dude, my first couple
my
hours in
baby
this game
alive.
were fine.
Yeah.
I had a great time playing on Friday, and then I played a ton on Sunday, and that's when I just started having really bad experiences. So I don't know. And, it's going to vary, but I think overall this game has got like a sturdy base, and maybe a few things need to be tweaked here and there and a few things need to be added, but, the core is there.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
I really like some of the stuff. Have you guys gotten some of the more broken cards at all yet?
Like?
So one of them is crouching gives you complete immunity, and your allies are immune to friendly fire.
Yeah, but there's no friendly fire on recruit level, so that card's useless on recruit. But that would be invaluable because it was like this in Left 4 Dead. Like you play on the higher difficulties, someone would accidentally shoot you, and I'm like, oh great, there goes all my health. But that's super valuable. There was I tend to build a lot of just bullet damage and penetration on and for my rifle guy Walker, and that seems really effective. Like it's amazing how much more damage that does when I start stacking that.
Does he get a bonus to rifles or something, or to machine guns?
I
Which
can't
one's
remember.
Walker? Is that the coach with the glasses, the white guy?
No, he's the black guy with the beard.
That's who I was putting
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
But I thought that.
No, he gets like a 10% damage buff or like 10% ammo or something.
He get
Yeah.
a little
10%
icon.
ammo to the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white guy, he gets one extra grenade or offensive item to every member on the team.
Yeah, which didn't really seem that great. But I have yet to even mess around with like a melee build or like a stamina build, which seems like it'd be really fun.
Because the guy was saying that like what's the point of a stamina build? And then as soon as I started swinging around that fireman's axe, and 4 swings later, I'm exhausted, but I killed everything in the room. I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely room here for a melee build. Which is probably what every game I play, I go melee.
Well, I had trouble making the melee build work in beta, but the cards that they have now, like once you start stacking them, you could build a really strong build with that. And you have to have the stamina too as well, because it uses up the stamina when you swing your weapon.
I like the loot system here too. Unlike Left 4 Dead where everything's just gray, here you have fucking rarities and you can be upgrading. And you never know when you just go around the corner and there's some like scope that's gonna up your damage or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it was great. Some guy threw his like what I thought was a sniper rifle on the floor because it had a fucking like 8 scope on it or a 4X scope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I'm a sniper now. I'm sniping around. And I'm like, wow, this thing's really strong. It was on a shotgun. There was a shotgun with a fucking sniper.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
know.
put a sniper or a scope on anything.
Yeah, I didn't know this. So I was like, but it took me a while to figure out what the fuck. I was like, how am I supposed to play this?
Mhm.
And I was just saving it for special infected and hitting the weak points. And so it worked out.
There's a shotgun build that's like absurd. There are certain cards on certain difficulties that are essentially instant losses. Like Sniper got one when me, Sniper, and Bobby were playing with Diddy. And it was on every round a boss spawns. And because the only boss that we had unlocked was the ogre, we took 2 steps out of the fucking start of the map, and the ogre comes and kills us all in 2 hits.
I had the option between that and like spawn fog on the map, and I was like, oh,
No.
we're gonna have the boss anyways. Oh wait, no, that's not how it works. Never mind, I'm fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's just passive shit. Like like I said, you can like apparently in the later difficulties, one of the ones that can really screw you over are having there's 2 of them that when put together, it's almost like an instant loss unless you yourself are already overpowered. It's the snitch one where snitches have extra armor and extra health where you can't one-shot them. And then the second one is all zombies have like spiked skin or whatever the fuck. And that's where they have all zombies have extra armor and extra health. And when they're stacked, like the snitches, which can call hordes, which look like normal zombies, they'll just like you'll have like 11 of them in one map. And you just keep getting overrun by horde by horde by horde by horde, and then it just becomes just crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, it adds a lot of variety to this game with the whole card system. That's what I really like about it. And is crazy. As much as this game is like Left 4 Dead, there's some things about it that really aren't too. Because Left 4 Dead was very much stick together, and this one you can actually branch out a little bit. And, they have that device that you can get that lets you free yourself from getting trapped. But it doesn't punish you as much for going out on your own. I mean, I still wouldn't like recommend it all the time. You got to still stick together somewhat like any cooperative game. But it's not like Left 4 Dead where it's just like, as long as you stick together, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And like the one pin and you're down type thing.
And I think overall that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Were you guys ever creeped out or scared at any point that any of this?
No.
One time when I was in like a parking garage, it was like in the second chapter. Me and my friends were like walking around, and then like one of those like barnacle things, like the ones that go on the wall that instantly down you. Which I love those things, by the way. They make you have to go so slow.
Yeah, they're so noisy though.
It scared the fuck out of all of us. So,
yeah, dude. I was gonna say the same thing. The barnacle scared me because I was by myself. I was off on my own, Bobby, as you were saying. And next thing I know, I have no idea what happened. I'm pinned to the ground, and there's this fucking half a person on me.
Yeah, well, they're really noisy and they make a lot of disgusting noises. So if you're out there on your own and you hear that from around the corner, it's an audio cue. Like after playing it so much, I hear that and I'm like, okay, I'll let my teammate check that corner.
It's tricky too, though, because like you want to be able to hear your friends on Discord, so you turn down the volume on the game, but then you need those audio cues a lot of the time to see what monster is going to be around the next corner.
Yeah.
So recommend for everybody, right?
Yeah, why not? It's on Game Pass. Go on eBay. Get 3 months for $1.70.
definitely recommend.
All right. Well, before we move on to listener questions here, let's give some shout outs to SMI Jeff, subscribing for 21 months. What a time to be alive, he says. 21 months. And I am Jermaine. He said 2 months. He says, bring back the segment where Bobby tries Mexican snacks.
He tried them all. There's no more snacks.
Yeah, they were all the same flavor, pretty much.
we need to go to a different culture, man. We need to go like Japanese or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of Asian stores and stuff in San Diego, so yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So this is a call to action, guys. I need you guys to go and Christian's laughing
God,
his
you're
ass off.
terrible at promos. I hate you.
Need you to go find a friend, another fellow gamer. Just be like, hey man, you listen to podcasts? Be like, he's gonna be like, I listen to one sometimes. You're like, no, you're gonna start listening to one. It's gonna be the DLG. And then you show them, you send them a link on your whatever you're playing on your Switch friend account. You
On your
send them a
PSP
link.
Vita.
Yeah, on your PS Vita. You send them a link, and then boom, they're part of the family, just like that. And then they come onto a Discord, and they're a little trepidatious at the beginning, and then 15 people say hello to them as soon as they show up. They're like, my balls feel warm, and then they're part of the. That's it. They're
That's the whole process.
they're part of the Borg. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So go tell a friend. Go tell a friend to
Yeah,
join us.
the whole thing is tell a friend. Tell a friend
Yeah.
about the podcast, and we will be greatly appreciative.
Nick, who was that person that just walked past you? Tell her
That was
right
Leslie.
now.
Leslie,
Tell her about the
watch
DLG.
DLG podcast. We love you.
Oh wow.
See how it works out there? This is all you got
That's
to
how
do.
It works in the real world.
Ooh, how is this game only sitting at 78, guys?
Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
These are critic reviews. I don't think this has anything to do with Reddit. 78's pretty good. IGN gave it 8.5. PC Gamer 88. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
88.
I read the PC Gamer review, and I mean,
I'm right around 88.
yeah, I think 88 is pretty fair.
Yeah.
I think the game's going to grow. I'm curious though, because a big part of Left 4 Dead for me was the multiplayer versus, and I played a little bit of that in the beta and didn't care for it that much. I haven't played it since the game is released, but that was really the lifespan of the game for me. Like the campaign was fun and I did that for a long time, but like all my hours were in multiplayer versus.
But there's no supply lines in that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There's something to work towards now,
Mm-hmm.
which is, if it was the same Bobby back then playing this game now, you would be sinking hundreds of hours into this. Like
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can unlock the supply lines, and I guess you could like try to beat it on the harder difficulties. But like multiplayer never gets old. That's the thing, man. It's
Yeah.
like new every time, just fresh every time. All right, let's take some listener questions.
Listen a question.
First one's coming from Zap. He says, "What do you think of the idea of games not being good or bad, or of not being good or not good, but rather interesting or not interesting?"
I think that's what makes them good or bad, is whether they're interesting or not interesting.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel the same way about movies too. Like I never really don't like movies. It is different with video games though, because I don't like some video games. But usually when I don't like one, or I think that it's bad, it's either poorly made or it's like a scam of some sort.
Right.
You know. But other than that, like if it's, I'm pretty aware now, being older, I'm pretty aware that like there could be a game that I don't like, but it's just not for me.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
not going to say like this game is horrible.
And in
Nobody should play
general, I really do feel that 90% of the games that you play, people were trying their fucking hardest to make the best possible game
Mm-hmm.
they could. And
Yeah, to the best of their ability.
to the best of their ability, or within the constraints that they were, money, time, whatever it is,
Mhm.
they did their fucking best. And so, sometimes they're
And you really don't, I don't know, maybe I'm just not like seeing a lot of them anymore. Maybe they're still out there, but you don't see a lot of these asset flips out there like you used to that were just overwhelming Steam just every day, like hundreds of these just terrible games.
Well, isn't the card system gone? Or
No, the card system's still there.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe there's
just-
still a lot of people that are just trying to like collect those and do whatever, but I don't know. But yeah, that's usually the approach I try to take when I'm thinking about games or talking about games. Like, what did I like about it? What did I not like about it? And I can separate that from good and bad.
Yep.
All
And
right.
the other thing about interesting and not interesting is interesting games you're talking about beforehand and you're watching the development of. And not
Yeah.
interesting games might come out of nowhere and it's like fun, but you didn't get all that lead up and you don't have all the discussion.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it too is that if you've not played a lot of games, if you're pretty young and like this stuff is new and exciting to you, then you're going to say, yeah, this Call of Duty game is interesting. But, you know, for people like us who have been playing since the very first one, like 20 something years ago, it's like, not really, but you know, you
Get out of here, kid.
but how are you going to deny that to a younger generation? You're going to tell them like, no, you shouldn't play that game. You know, and we all played AAA games and loved garbage when we were young.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, but you kind of grow out of it and refine your tastes a little bit. Yeah.
Animal lover.
Next question from Animal Lover. If you could choose a device that had unlimited battery life and storage, automatically upgrade to the best hardware each year, almost indestructible, and always had a Wi-Fi connection, what would you choose? A phone, iPad, or a laptop?
Laptop.
No Samsung tablet in there?
Probably my phone because I spend the most money on phones. Because I just keep, Because I'm a whore for
and
it.
it's indestructible.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of your phones
Yeah.
Get destroyed.
get destructed.
Yeah. They do get destructed. I'm on my second iteration of my phone. But I had insurance on it, $200 for a new one, so it was worth it.
I'd have to go with laptop, man, because
Yeah,
like a MacBook, if I could just get because here's what happens, man. I'm like, I got to get a new MacBook. I've been using the same one since 2016 and it's still running like a champ, especially with all the stuff I put it through. Like I've had that thing just like rendering 4K videos for like 15 straight hours, things
Yeah.
like hot as a goddamn the sun, you know, it's just roasting. I'm like, how is this still alive after like
Right.
almost 5 years of this? But every year I'm like, oh man, this new MacBook Pro, it's going to be amazing. It's the M1 or whatever it is, you know? And then every single year they come out with a new one in October. It's like every single year there's a new one and there's always something better just around
Right.
the corner. So it never seems like I'm always in the perpetual state of just waiting a little bit longer for the new one.
Yeah.
You know?
What's like a top of the line MacBook Pro cost these days?
I mean, you pay a lot more if you get the larger screen size, but they're upping the minimum screen size to about 14 inches because they're able to make the bevel a little smaller in the new ones. But usually they start at $1,300, and that one,
Not crazy.
yeah, for $1,300 for the MacBook Pro, like that's, you know, insane.
And
You can edit Final Cut Pro, you can edit 4K on that. I mean,
And that's 5 or 6 years you're gonna get out of that.
yeah, I've got so many years out of mine. The other thing is too, like sometimes I've reached a point now with technology where if it's working, I don't want to mess with it, you know? Because I've bought in like brand new stuff and like in a month I start having problems and it just starts acting weird. I've
Yeah.
seen that with like the people who I support at work. And I'm just like, you know what? If it's working, just let it be.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
What's the best you're gonna get? You're gonna save a few minutes on rendering and whatnot, right?
Oh, more than a few minutes on the MacBook Pros. The new ones are just like ridiculous because Apple has gone back to making their own hardware with these
right.
new M1s. You know, they used to do that back in the day with like the PowerBooks or whatever. They had their own chips, and then they're like, okay, we're just going to use Intel now or whatever. But now they're going back to making their own and way better battery life, way better horsepower, just insane. So
So get one.
yeah, I might, but
All right.
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see how the new one looks when it comes out. So, Nick, what's your answer?
I was gonna say laptop.
Laptop
If it's like super crazy, super powerful, whatever.
for what,
I don't
gaming?
need my desktop. Yep.
Maybe I'll go like a really big laptop, put a strap on the back of it, and just have a fucking Captain America shield. Like it's indestructible, right? Maybe we're thinking about the wrong way. I'll just be a superhero with this indestructible piece of shit on my arm. All right. Apple logo. Just like I start charging them for fucking royalties every time I save a bank from getting robbed.
Brought to you by Apple. Your life is mine.
Next question from Zap. What country or culture has the best cuisine and you can't pick your own?
That's a hard tie between Japanese and Indian for me.
Oh,
Ugh,
really?
weirdo, man.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
I mean,
okay.
Indian is good. I
wouldn't-
couldn't even have it
I mean,
every
both
day.
both what you mentioned is good, but I wouldn't want to eat that shit all the time, though. I mean,
I could eat sushi every day, I think.
oh no, I can and do eat Mexican food every day. Like I think, yeah, I think when it comes to food, definitely Mexican food.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But
hard to
what
argue.
is-
Yeah, I mean, you just
What
take a
is
bunch of shit, wrap it up in a burrito, and boom.
Boom.
Or take a bunch of shit, put it in a bottle, ship it to Bobby, have it put it in his fridge, and then boom. Oof. Overall, I guess, Nick, what do you got?
I already said it.
What was
He
it?
said Japanese and
Indian.
Indian.
I'm gonna go with Thai. I like
Thai's
their
a good one.
yeah. They have, yeah. I really like their use of vegetables, and I don't like vegetables, but I like all Thai food, and I like the flavor profiles. I like the peanut sauce. Yeah, it's good. I've been to Thailand. I've actually had Thai food, and it was as good as here. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Thai food.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Oh,
Next.
but I wouldn't say it's the best because you're not allowing me to nominate my own. So it's definitely not the best.
No mention of the Italians here. I feel like they're getting snuffed a little bit.
You
Nah, man, I
know,
don't wanna be
Pizza,
fucking
come
bloated and
on,
overweight every time
lasagna.
after I eat.
Yeah. I mean, I love that stuff, but I'd still take Mexican food over it.
Yeah.
Pizza,
I love
I
that
don't
stuff
know.
too, but every time I eat it, I feel like I'm gonna fucking pass out. I've been shot in the neck with a tranquilizer dart for a rhino.
but yeah.
Just like,
Okay. that noise.
well, what's funny is that's how he sounds all the time. So it was like he wasn't even doing an impression. Warhammer.
Okay. Next question from Morconius. Last question here, two-parter. Best game you've played that mixed genres? I thought of this question after playing the very excellent Riftbreaker with the twin stick RTS survival and tower defense all mixed in one game.
Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend?
What's the mix?
It's RTS and like third person action game.
Brutal Legend
It's
is?
a RTS.
Yeah, you like command your little guys.
This
Remember
is
these?
crazy. I've never played Brutal
Yeah, I've
Legend.
never played it.
Jack Black is the main character.
Yeah, I just-
made
No,
this
I
game
know
seem
of
like
the
an
game.
RPG.
We know, yeah. I remember when this game came out and I was at Comic-Con and you could like play it early. But I thought it was just like an action adventure game.
Yeah, I had no idea
No,
it had
it's an
RTS.
RTS. You build like your base and shit, and you're gathering and your fucking cronies and stuff. Yeah, it's hella fun.
Oh, okay.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's all metal.
Nice. Yeah, Riftbreaker, and we should probably put this on the radar next week because I thought it was going to be on this week. But I was talking to another listener, John, about this, and it was it looked pretty interesting, and it is free on Xbox Game Pass. Well,
Yeah.
free with.
Who's up next week?
Do not know. Not me. I just went.
So it's Nick.
Probably Nick. Yeah.
Oh, it's me.
Nick, I would like you to pick
I
Riftbreaker.
nominate Riftbreaker.
Yeah, because I was looking
I
at
mean, it
this
looks
hard.
really fucking cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
Riftbreaker.
All right, cool. So that's the game of the week next week. Maybe weeks. But yeah, I was looking at it. It's yeah, exactly what he's saying. There's an RTS city builder type, and then you go off as this robot and kill the local fauna and flora. Yeah. Geez. I always say this, ActRaiser, when I was a little tiny kid. I didn't even know what these were called at the time, but it's a mix between RTS and a 2D side scroller. So I was like, expanding. It was like a 4X game at one point, and then the other thing was you turn into this statue in the middle of town would turn into this like defender of justice or whatever, and you would go out in the forest and fucking kill things so that you could expand your town. And I played it all night. This is what I would do because my mom and dad would rent movies overnight, and you had to return them the next day. This is how it first started out when you had rentals. Later on, they made it to like 2 or 3 days, but at the beginning, it was one night. And so I had one night with these video games, and I would just stay. They didn't know this. I would stay up all night and just try to beat the game. And ActRaiser, I feel like I beat this one, or maybe I rented it more than once. And yeah, I had never played anything like it. I've played a lot of like side-scrolling slashers, and I had never played a city builder. And then this thing, I was like, oh, this is so deep. You know, I'm 9 or whatever it was, 11 maybe. So that was cool. And then recently, I talked about another game that mixed these two same genres, where you play a 2D side scroller and then a city builder on the side. I forgot what it was. Oh, is there a new ActRaiser, dude?
ActRaiser Renaissance.
Dwight Dynamite said, "Yeah, me and my brother played the original and the remake, so I just looked it up. This looks pretty good, hey?"
Yeah, the graphics aren't too bad. I wonder what kind of reviews it got. Best mix of genre. Oof, it's hard, man.
I'm trying to think of games that have mixed genres that I really enjoy, and I'm having trouble thinking of some. I mean, an old one that I really liked was North and South. It was a game on the Nintendo where you would play as either the North or the South during the Civil War, and you had the map of America, and it was like a strategy game. Not really a grand strategy game, but kind of a big strategy game. And then there would be these little RTS battles that you would fight out. And then you could also invade someone's base or try to rob their train and turn into a side scroller. So it had like 3 different things in it. It was so much fun. North and South. They remade it on mobile, and it was almost like a clone with new graphics. And it was all right, I suppose, but they changed a few things and that I didn't care too much about. Yeah, North and South. It was done all like goofy and stuff. It was, yeah. It looks terrible. I know you're looking at this like, oh my God, got the sleeping Mexican in the corner. Can't do that anymore. But the little Indian guy there. Yeah, but this game was so good, man. Like I still go back and play this game sometimes. I loved it so much.
Another thing that I like is like when you have an existing game and then they bring in another mechanic or another genre and add it to it. So I'm thinking of what is the game? It is called Nick. You've played it with me. They added a roguelike in the 3rd DLC. Me, you, and John played it together. It's a third person.
From the Ashes. Remnant from
Remnant.
the Ashes.
Remnant for the Ashes.
Yeah, Remnant.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like this. It's like this action RPGs, light on the RPG game that you play, and it's really fun. And we had a fantastic time with it. And then on the 3rd DLC, hey, here's a whole roguelike version of it, and you can play it with your friends. A 3D fucking 3-person roguelike action RPG, and it's really good and really fun. And it's great when something that's already existing that you like adds something from another genre. And but although Bobby said that like roguelike's becoming a feature more than it is a genre, and
It's kind of tacking it on.
I tend to agree. Yeah, like, unless you're like a hardcore roguelike.
I mean, nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with it at all. Still one of the best games from the last 10 years.
All right. Second part of this question says, or I'm sorry, Nick, did you have something else to add?
Oh, no. I said yeah.
Okay.
North and South was on PC too. Loved it. It was basically Risk.
I like how I said, do you have something else to add? And you said, oh, I just said, yeah. I have you guys seen Major League 2? Major League 2. The movie's terrible. The first one was much better. Like it's
Is
really
that the kid who could throw the ball real fast?
No, that's Rookie of the Year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Major League with like Pedro Serrano. Really, dude, you don't know. Okay. Major League 2, like they have this whole bit where the announcer has like this new guy who's like his partner who just doesn't say anything, and then every now and then he'll be like he'll just drop in with like one word, and then the main announcer is just like, "Dynamite drop in there, money." That's just what I thought of when Nick said that. I'm sorry.
Bobby, you're 2 episodes in a row with the movie reference.
Yeah, and I like
You're-
them. They were cones.
They were cones, which you can only see if you watch us on YouTube or live on Twitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell a friend
Yep. Tell a
to
friend.
go watch
All right.
those.
But
clips.
back to the second part of his questions here. Which part of your body would you choose to be replaced by robotics, not including vital organs? Second
My
part,
spine.
would you go out with a lady that had a robotic arm?
Second part, yes, of
before being
course.
married, yes. And the answer for the first part, my spine.
Spine. Okay. Is a spine a vital organ? That sounds pretty vital.
No, you
to
can
me.
live without your spine.
Really?
Slugs do it.
Okay.
It's not vital.
Not
live without
including
Google
vital
Google.
organs, dude.
Living without spine.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm going to go to a movie quote. Grandma's boy. I'm thinking about getting metal legs.
Metal legs. You're gonna be a Star Fox character.
Well, my eyes are starting to go to shit. I've always had like really bad like far vision, so that's why I got
You want to be
LASIK.
Baco from
Yeah, but
fucking
that happens
Ghost
when
in
you
the Shell?
hit like your 40s, dude. That's what they
No,
told
no,
me.
no, no. Far vision is always
But you got LASIK, right?
yeah, and that cleared it. But now I'm hitting my 40s, and now the close vision is getting fucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's going to happen to everybody when
Right,
you hit
right,
your
right.
40s, dude.
So eyes
yeah.
is what I'm gonna go with. I
Robot
don't think
eyes.
those are, robot eyes.
Okay.
See through ladies' dresses. I don't know why that would
Yeah.
work.
Go out with a lady who had robotic arms. I mean,
Yeah,
are
of
these like
course.
metal arms?
Well, it's
Are these like
No, they're
like
not.
Terminator
Arms.
after he's been melted arms? Like, are they have like a skin coating on them? Because that
no. I'm gonna go with metal. Because if they were just skin coating, it'd just be like regular arms. So what do we
Okay.
care? Yeah, metal arms.
Hmm.
It's tough. It's gonna be hard to get a fucking hand job. That's for sure.
could be dangerous.
Could be dangerous.
Just got to get your tetanus shot.
Malfunction, a fucking glitch in the matrix. She ripped that thing right off.
Mhm.
That's not fun for anybody.
I think you'd be into it, to be honest.
My last orgasm was the best one. It was so good.
Company review on Amazon. Ladies' arms.
Thank you for the question because we like to get deep into what really matters around here at the DLG.
Yeah. Okay. What's everyone playing next week? We're back for
The
blood.
game of the week. And Far Cry 6. I need to play Far Cry 6. I started it, but I need to actually play all the way through it.
Hey, if you want, you can make Far Cry 6 the game of the week, and then we'll circle. Well,
No, because then Bobby has to buy it, and it's $60.
he's not going to buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's stick with Rift Breaker. I feel like it's more interesting if we
let's
don't do
stick
the
with
big
Rift Breaker.
AAA
Rift Breaker it
titles
is.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Eternal Cylinder. I talked about this last week, and I knew I wasn't going to get to it this week because of Back for Blood, but I did load it back up after the game fully released, and it remembered my progress from the beta or from the alpha.
Do you want to?
Not really,
Yeah, you
though,
don't.
because the game really kind of trains you and opens up the world slowly. Like, this is how you do this. Okay, then they add something else and add something else, and then it really kind of opens up. So, like, jumping right back into it, I was like, wait, how does this work again? So
Yeah.
I feel like I want to start it from the beginning. Plus, 1.0 release, maybe something's a little different. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
There might be a whole new level between 1 and 2.
Probably not, but
You
yeah.
never know.
I'm going to... Oh, yeah, Jax from Mortal Kombat. He did have robot arms.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Speaking for, what are we playing? Besides that, I'm going to play more Back for Blood. I want to play more.
Yeah,
New
Rift
World.
Breaker. I'll be
Yeah.
playing Eternal Cylinder. Yeah.
Cool. Speaking for Bobby, Nick, Chris, and myself, Rift Titties. Bye, buddy. Eternal Titties are even better. Have you guys thought about like somebody getting a huge set of really fake boobs, and then when they're 80, do they still look fucking super awesome? And they're all wrinkly. Like their body's all wrinkly, and they have this like.
You know you're supposed to replace them every 7 and 10 years?